And hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo Woo, and welcome to another forest. It's a new forest though, I will have you know. In fairness, it is quite close to the other forest, but it's very different. It's the whole atmosphere is extremely different. It seems an awful lot older, but I would hazard a guess that it's an awful lot younger. It just has that kind of ancient feel to it. It's surrounded by pine trees and lots of trees that have fallen over, which is where I am taking shelter from right now. A huge root of a tree, of a pine tree, because it's quite windy and rainy, and as you can see, I'm quite wet. But if I was to postpone things because of wind and rain in Ireland, I've never got outdoors. So this week what we're doing as promised is some 40 servant 1 card divinations, but I thought I would also spice it up a little bit by doing a bit of bibliomancy, or at least to offer people some bibliomancy. And one person came up and said they wanted that. So not too many questions, so I'll be able to spend, I suppose, a bit of time in each of the questions. But we'll get into them. Again, I'm going to use the Brazilian 40 Servants deck, because that is the deck that I use for divination. I do have the other one with me, my magic one, in my pocket. That is always kept, if I can find it. Here, that's the magic deck. It's always in my pocket. Okay. So, I will get to questions. Very prepared. I know you should probably edit all these things, but I really hate those jump cut edits that everyone does on YouTube. It does my head in, so I'm not going to. So, the first question is from Rory Kelly, and all of these questions are from patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much for all your support, without whom none of this would be possible, at least not to the level that it's all been done. So Rory Kelly asks, what attitude will best serve me to further my spiritual journey? So, let's go to the cards. Give a bit of a shuffle. I like that kind of question, because it's not saying what do I have to do, or it's not what's going to happen or anything. It's like, how should I approach it? What's my attitude? I like that. I could learn from that. Okay, and the card is the eye. So the attitude, of course, is just that the eye is all about the all-seeing eye of God, I suppose, or the eye in the pyramid, all of these things. But it kind of represents the idea that there is a divine plan. Or if you don't like those words, that there is a reason for all things, that everything happens for a reason. And when it's sometimes when we're in the middle of things, hard things, we find it, hard for it to kind of comprehend it. Why would this be for my greatest benefit, or why would this be good? Why do I have to go through this? What possible reason could this be? I suppose the eye is just a reminder that we're not kind of privy to the great workings or machinations of the universe, and sometimes we just have to trust in the process, even when it seems hard to be going through. Of course, I'm not always successful at that. There is things that seem ludicrously unneeded and unhelpful, and even years later you look back at certain things and go, well, why did that happen? There seems to be no rhyme, no reason, but maybe just from my vantage point, that's interesting, I just can't see it. I can't see where it is. So the attitude to have towards your spiritual kind of, what's the exact word you have? Sorry for the unprofessionalism. This is good content. What attitude would best serve me to further my spiritual journey would be to know that all things are as they should be, that there is, I suppose, in a sense, if it works for you, some sort of plan. Now that's kind of getting into a thing of that there's predestination and all that, and I'm not sure I like that, but maybe so for all, if it's simulation, matrixy consciousness, maybe, multiple universes, all of this is just repeating over and over again. And I do kind of like the idea that maybe rather than reincarnate into a million different lives, you reincarnate into the same life over and over again, like Groundhog Day, until you get it right. But anyway, side point. So your attitude that'll best serve you is to realise that everything is as the way it should be, that things are as they should be, and not to fight against that, or not want them to be different, or not to resist that idea. Kind of the Buddhist kind of mind frame of things are the way they are, and anything trying to struggle, or the dukkha, the sadness, or the whatever that we want to translate that word as, is because we struggle against that, not because of the thing itself. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you. So next question comes from Brian Court. What do I most need to know to improve my state of mind and happiness? So happiness is an interesting one because it's mostly the pursuit of happiness is what makes us happy. Content can be what a lot of people are looking for, or safety, I suppose, basic needs met. Let's see what comes up for you. Okay. Oh, there's two coming out, but I'll try this one first. So the messenger, and what was the other one? The guru. Right, so the messenger, shall I just get exactly what you're saying? What do I most need to know to improve my state of mind and happiness? Right, so the messenger is all about communication, and it's about being aware of what's being told to you, or, you know, it's kind of, there's always a kind of an underlying thing with the messenger is that there's something that we don't want to hear. And that's not always true of the messenger, because it can just be, you know, a message, communication, and represent communication, and that you might need to communicate better. But there always seems in divinations that my kind of feel is always that there's something we're not listening to, we're not getting, we're not allowing, that we're not, you know, listening to. And that it's something that we probably don't want to be true, or we don't want to believe, or we don't want to accept, because of the implications that come from it. So in your case, what do I need to know about happiness, or you know, the pursuit of happiness and your contentment would be that you need to accept something that's been told to you, that there's some sort of message that has been said, and once you accept that, then that you will be in a better place. And that's not it's not necessarily like a, you know, accept that I'm going to be a failure, or accept defeat or something like that. It's not quite like that. It could accept that you're an awesome person and you need to go out and do things, or that you have to stop hiding, or you have to, you know, push your boundaries. It's not kind of a defeatist thing at all. It's something about you, your world, and all of that you need to accept about yourself. Could be positive, could be negative, but it's something that you need to take on board to move forward. So hopefully that's helpful. Or also, but watch out as well, because it is communication, that maybe you need to talk more, maybe you need to talk to someone, maybe you need to get things out, you know, in a kind of a speaking way. Maybe you need to write, maybe you need to express yourself through some sort of form of communication. Do a podcast. Matt Bende, he wants to ask Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. We'll come back to that. Alatar, what is the number one thing I can do to grow a practice of self-love and build my confidence starting now? I like that all of these questions are about self-improvement and not about how do I get a fast car? How do I get my ex to come back to me? How do I get this person to love me who doesn't love me? Good for yous. Good for yiz, as we would say in Ireland. So, we'll read this one more time. What is the number one thing I can do to grow a practice of self-love and build my confidence starting now? Okay. Okay, the opposer. Get rid of shitty people, man. That's just kind of it. There's people around you that are holding you back. Now, I will just take a brief moment to tell the difference between the devil and the opposer, because they're similar looking aesthetically. The devil is about self-imposed restrictions, your shadow work, the things, your beliefs about yourself that are holding you back. You know, your lack of confidence, your lack of, you know, thinking you're a good person, or all the shitty stuff that, you know, you do, that all the kind of limiting beliefs of, oh, money brings sadness, or, you know, the more I earn, the more I owe kind of thing, all of those different types of things. Whereas the opposer is literally outside forces that are not to do with you, and it can be the law in the sense of, you know, like the police, or it can, you know, it's an actual establishment that's, you know, can be opposing you. It can come up a lot in court cases and, you know, around that kind of thing. But it can come up about people, like, say, if you're working in office, and as an example, that, you know, there's people who are kind of gatekeeping or keeping you down, or, you know, there's bullying, or there's something going on, or they're stopping you from somehow maybe getting your ideas to the boss, or whatever it is. You know, there's some literal outside force opposing you. But in this kind of thing, I get the impression that it's shitty people, or shitty ideas, or people around you that aren't conducive to your greatest success, that are holding you back, that are opposing you, that are stopping you in some way from achieving what you want. it feels people-y. It could be establishment, it could be principles, it could be it could be money that's oppressive to you, or it could be I don't know, some sort of situation rather than people, but it feels people-y. So it feels like, so have a look around, I would suggest. We all can do this because it should be an ongoing thing, and look at the people in your life, and are they making you better, making you happier? And that doesn't mean they can't challenge you or can't, shine a mirror, or shine a light on you, or reflect back to it. I'm not saying all people have to be really nice to you, that's not what I'm saying, but are the people that you are hanging around with, good for you? Are they, are they keeping you down? Are they making you feel miserable? Are they building you up and make you feel happy? It's that old thing that we are an amalgamation, or the kind of average of the three people we spend the most time with. So who's the three people you're spending the most time with, and is the average of that a good thing or a bad thing? And good luck with that. I hope that works out for you. Now, I think we've just one more question. Abraxas. Well, Abraxas, your question did not print out. How terrible. This is your second one printed out. I'll let you decide on the 47s of Bibliomancy. So, Abraxas, I'm going to read this blind, in that I don't know what your question was. I'll know later, and I'll put his question here. So, Abraxas, what card is most relevant to you? This will be interesting, given the lack of context. Okay, the Tinker. So, the Tinker is a kind of a maligned card, I suppose, in Magic circles, in that people think it's the opposite of what we want it to be. That it's, it's the skeptic, it's the debunker, the kind of the disenchanter. But it's also like, we do need to think, and we need to think through things logically. And a good kind of example of that, I suppose, is the recent conspiracy theories around the world events that are going on that you're not allowed to mention on YouTube because they take away all your money. Not that they give me lots of money anyway. But and you can kind of see that there's not necessarily wishful thinking, wishful bad thinking, that it's kind of the conspiratorial thinking. And I know you're sick to death of me talking about this, particularly you, Braxton. We've talked about this a bit. But that kind of, that there is the need in that to have a logical kind of worldview. That's not to disenchant the world, however. It's not to say that you need to, become the Vulcan or become Spock and, just take everything literally and everything for it is, and not have any magic or any disenchantment or any enchantment or that kind of stuff. But it's to see things and be discerning, and to think things through and to think things logically. It's the aim of religion, the method of science. It's the method of science, to do it with the kind of overall arc of your trying to re-enchant the world, to use Gordon White's term. I think it's his term. He uses it the most anyway. So that's it. Just to spend some time in the company of the Tinker, rather than say the Seer, which would be the opposing or opposite card, which is about gut feelings, intuition, that kind of thing, and feeling your way through life. This is thinking your way through life logically. What is the correct decision on paper? What is the correct decision to make logically? If this happens and this is happening, what is A plus B? What is C? Rather than what I want C to be, what I hope C to be, what I intuit C to be. What is it? When you look at the two factors involved, what does that lead to? And so whatever your question is, it's to approach it in an analytical way. In, say, it's a financial issue, so say, how do I pay my rent? It's think of it logically, not necessarily to, let the universe, give you it, or, manifest it for you. It would be, I need to get a job. I need, to get this money. I need to borrow the money. I need to talk to this person who can give me the money to pay my rent, or whatever it is, rather than a kind of a, I don't want to say wishful thinking, because that's kind of saying that the Seer and intuition, all that's wishful thinking, which is certainly not. But think of it logically. Belabouring the point, absolutely, at this point. Okay, so we go back to Matej Bende's question, who wanted the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern bibliomancy. He would like to ask Rosencrantz and Guildenstern for some insight about my overall situation at the moment. And I also have a question from Spud that I need to ask. But we concentrate on Matt Bende for some advice on his current situation. Rosencrantz, Guildenstern are dead. Guildenstern, I always pronounce that wrong, are dead is a play by Tom Stoppard. They're two characters from Hamlet, background characters. It's a great film with Gary Oldman and Tim Roth. Great play, great for bibliomancy. I've done a couple of videos on it before if you are interested. So. Okay. He springs up, still talking. Right, so that's a good one. That would suggest to me that it's about action. It's about the more you're beaten down, the more you step back up. It's about not giving up. Don't give up is the thing here, but it's not even don't give up and carry on. It's not turning the other cheek and being hit, that in that kind of continue to take the punishment, to take the beating, whatever it is that I can take. I can take the hardship of the world, whatever people are doing to you, whatever the situation is. It's not about surviving it. It's about with the spring in your step. Right, you fuckers. Here we go. Let's have you. It's that kind of a energetic response. It's becoming bigger and more powerful than the situation that you were in, rather than giving into the situation, letting it overpower you and keeping you down and oppressing you in some sort of way. So spring up and say, we can do this. I'm going to do this, and nothing's going to stop me. And I am greater than the situation. So that's what I would suggest, and that's good. That's giving me a bit of a pop of energy, so I appreciate that. So the last question is for dear old Spud, who is the, Tommy and Spud Talk About podcast. Lots of you are aware of him. And as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, he has recently achieved the knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel, which is very interesting, very cool for him. I have yet to, although I suppose I didn't work on it. That's a lie. I was going to say I didn't work on it as much as he did. I worked on it quite a bit at one stage, and never successful. But he's in the kind of a situation now where he's done the K and C, and he's getting towards crossing the abyss, and so he wants some help or some insight or some sort of reflection on what he needs to do or what could help him in that. So let's see what the cards have to say. He reckons he's going to get the road opener. We'll see. The Protector. Right, man, you need to look after yourself. You need to probably take it a wee bit more serious than you probably are. And I know you're taking it serious. I don't mean that in that you've been very jovial with it or anything, but I mean that it's no laughing matter. It's serious business. This crossing the abyss is, by all accounts, can be a terrifying experience. When you meet up with Coranzon, it's by any account, and I definitely feel I have met him on numerous occasions. I know what that feels like, and I've never got past it because I kind of back away, which is what is prescribed in all the writings, that for at least the first couple of times or the first time, most people back away, which is why in the Matrix no one ever makes the first jump. Same thing. Stuart Wilde talks about it as well in his 10,000 Day Journey in the Wall and all that kind of stuff in Whispering Winds of Change, which is a heavily depressing book, but turned out to be quite prophetic in the end. So yeah, to take it a bit more seriously, that's not said to take the humour out of it. I think humour is our greatest banishment, banish with laughter, and it's our greatest kind of bow in our arrow. Is that it? Feather in our arrow, feather in our bow, whatever that expression is. Going into all of these type of things because we need to obviously keep light about it, but this is serious business. Things could get dark, not dark, things could get hard, things could get a bit frightening, things could get and to protect yourself, and don't go in thinking that you have nothing to worry about, that this is going to be easy, this is just the simple thing to do, this is the next step, way hey, because you've kind of come to this and on a kind of very quick trajectory. It could be easy to just think, oh, this is all simple and this is going to be easy, and you could get bit in the ass a bit for that. But I think you're quite serious enough about it, and you do know the thing. But there is the call for protection and to look after yourself and to go in with a kind of a reverence for it, for the occasion and for the trial, like it is a trial that it is, and I suppose the initiation of it. And initiations don't come easy. They always come with trouble. They always come with hardship. They always come with some sort of test, and all of these rites of passage. And the crossing the abyss seems like a major one. So yeah, look after yourself. That's the and maybe do some lesser banishing rituals of the pentagram. I'm joking, of course. Well, there would be no harm for you, I suppose. But I know your aversion to those things. Get some robes and a big staff draw the pentagram and the circle on the ground, and you'll be good to go. But right, so that's 47's Divinations for this month. Doing them once a month from now on. It'll be for patrons, so if you want to get in on that, it's just go to Patreon. The links are in the description, and just sign up at any amount, and you get into this, like most of the stuff on Patreon, apart from the initial kind of rewards. So, you know, most of my posts are to all patrons or whatever, and you get Discord stuff and loads of different things. Anyway, I'll not sell you on it. If you're interested in it, go look at it. If you're not, so be it. It's all good. Good people of the internet, may our best days be ahead, and may look after yourself. The world is kind of a strange place at the minute, and it can be very easy to lose yourself in the momentum of it in many different ways. And we kind of seem a bit separated a bit because we're all at different points in the timeline, again to steal a Gordon White phrase, and we can kind of forget that while we're in a good place, while I'm in a forest here enjoying it, loving it, about to go on a hike through the woods, some people are in lockdown, same, some people are, you know, relatives are sick, some people are just, and apart from all of the pandemic stuff, you know, life has gone on and things are tough for many different reasons and all that, so look after yourselves, but genuinely to try and get back to some of the positivity that I had during my lockdown, kind of the proper lockdown stuff. I do think our best days are ahead, and I think, kind of echoing the Spud's reading where it says we're in a rite of passage, we're in a sense doing a global initiation or a global meeting with Quran's on, and we need to protect ourselves, but go in with a happy heart rather than a heavy heart. So, good people of the internet, may our best days be ahead.